Hello, folks. Welcome to another episode of The Deep Dive. Today we're doing Wishmaster 1997. Nick, have you ever summoned a Djinn that came out and granted you 3 wishes?
No, because we would not be doing this podcast if I did.
Now, for me, let's do a quick fun hypothetical. Let's do the 3 wishes. The first one for me would be like, I don't want to be burdened with the responsibility of these wishes because I think I'd probably screw them up.
So my first wish would be infinite amount of wishes before the world ends.
That's got to break some kind of rule, internal logic within the Djinn. I got one, though.
Tell that to this Djinn that does a lot of shit.
I got one. We'll spread our wishes out throughout the podcast, but I got wish number 1. I wish that Wes Craven actually had directed this movie instead of merely producing it.
I thought you just said he had no stakes in this movie, not even production. His name was just on it.
Nah, his name is used because on the trailer, when the audience sees presented by Wes Craven, it's a good marketing ploy because at that time, 1997, guess what was the year before? Was Scream by Wes Craven. So Wes Craven was all the rage. So this being like thought of, if you're just watching the preview, you're like, the new Wes Craven movie. Nah, not exactly, but they're trying to fool you with the marketing there. So now that's
like how this Djinn lore tries to fool you throughout the movie.
Yes, and we're going to use the word lore loosely because usually lore has some kind of internal logic, consistency.
And lore also doesn't change.
Yeah, well, not that I don't know about. So, I guess I don't know I don't know the lore of lore per se to comment on.
Lores usually don't change.
Well, not
because most of the time a lore is a set thing.
Well, lores change. I would say like when a new writer comes in, a new director, lores change. But within the same movie with the same writer. Now, an example of lore changing might be like something like, hey, we know Jason is this one thing, and now this new mother trucker is saying that he's a deadite. Now, that's a big change in the lore.
Well, that's also a big company change that did that.
Well, that's true, yeah. New Line Cinema, so. But yeah, within the same movie, usually you should have a consistent lore. But let's be honest also, this is not exactly.
Happy Halloween.
This is not Tolkien making Lord of the Rings. This is some random guy writing cheesy 90s B movie.
Should have been Kevin Williamson.
He was busy doing a lot of shit this time. 1997, this man was making like 11 movies at once plus a TV show. So,
Orderly.
Folks, this is Vik Azim with my co-host here, Nick Arcana.
Why did we have to introduce ourselves?
Every once in a while, I get some feedback sometimes from Nilbog/Idaho where they're like, listen, you guys just jump right into it. You don't introduce ourselves. I don't know which one's Vic, which one's Nick. I don't know about arcade games, Arcana. I don't know what Azim means. That we need to clarify sometimes.
So the real question I got is, who is mixing our voices up?
I don't know.
We sound completely different.
It seems pretty clear, but just a fresh reminder to you guys, maybe new people who are listening, random fans of the Wishmaster. You've come to hear our thoughts on that, which we're going to gladly share with you. All right, Wishmaster.
Oh my God.
Wishmaster 1997, presented by Wes Craven. I saw this movie a lot as a kid, but then I went a long time as an adult without watching it. So this is my first watch in quite a while. For those interested, the box set of all 4 movies available on Amazon for $16.
You're going to lose an audience the minute you mention 3 and 4.
3 and 4, well, it is not on our list to review.
It's not on our list to own.
Or to watch,
hopefully,
per se.
Hopefully they come in separate discs so you can burn those.
Well, make no mistake, buying the box set for $16 is all about part 1 and 2. 3 and 4 may go to Goodwill, I guess. I could donate it. Somebody somewhere would want to watch it, maybe.
Yeah.
Somebody's gonna walk through Goodwill one day and be like, "Oh my goodness, my favorite movie, Wishmaster 3."
No.
You don't think so?
You know why? They're gonna damn you to hell the minute they open that and watch it.
Yeah. Won't be the first time.
You will find yourself not only in Nilbog, but the hell of Nilbog.
Whoa, damn.
You'll be in Goblin.
Goblin?
Yes.
Oh my goodness. We're doing some serious Troll 2 references in this mofo. Folks, if you haven't seen it, 5-star world-class movie Troll 2, watch it probably on Tubi, I'm guessing.
Or if you want a really good movie, it's called Repo.
Repo, the genetic opera? I think not, sir. How dare you condemn our audience with that terrible recommendation?
How dare you condemn our audience to such travesties? Travasities.
Travashamockeries.
Yes, as Troll 2.
Listen, let's let the audience decide. You guys watch Troll 2, watch Repo. Just tell me which one you had more fun with, all right? Just be honest, all right? We won't hurt our feelings, be honest.
Repo. You'll hurt Vic's feelings the minute you say Troll 2 is trash.
Now, folks, quick update also for our listeners who've been hearing us talk about this. Rest assured, we are coming to you on screen very, very soon. It's been a slight delay as
We're working out the kinks.
But before the end of the year, we will be on your screens. Wishmaster, did you see it as a kid? Have you watched it?
Yes, I watched it. I think it was the year 1998.
Oh, wow.
I know I watched it when I was young. Granted, horror movies I've been watching since I was 4. Yeah, I watched it when I was young. I enjoyed it so much that when part 2 came out, watched that one. And I've never even watched 3 and 4 until... I didn't even know about 3 and 4 actually until about 5 years ago. Watched them both and asked myself the same question I still ask myself. Why did I waste 3 hours of my damn life?
Well, yeah. I mean, listen. 3 and 4, I mean, maybe they're coming in the box set. Maybe I'll entertain them, but...
I mean, let's be fair. I'd still watch them over Troll 2, but...
Well, I mean, listen, not to dwell on the entire franchise, even though we probably won't be reviewing the sequel, so it's not a bad idea to dwell on the franchise for a moment. My takeaway from the movie so far, the first one at least, is that this is one of those things where they're trying to establish a new horror franchise, a new like iconic villain. So for the franchise going forward, like keeping Andrew Divoff in all the movies was probably going to be like a key thing to make the series work. Once you go replacing him, it's like,
yeah, something tells me Andrew Divoff probably did read the script to the third one and said, fuck this shit.
Yeah, I think probably so. Yeah.
If they even contacted him about it, it was sci-fi cheapy. They probably didn't even think to contact him.
No, because by part 3, he probably could have been like, listen, we're making this piece of shit. I want a little bit more money than what I've been getting.
I want the money used to make this piece of shit.
Yeah, your budget should be just what you're giving to me.
Because you are literally going to end my career with this. I want to be able to survive the rest of my life.
After this, I'm only going to be getting guest appearances on the TV show Supernatural. He wasn't even on Supernatural. That's how far my career is going to go down. So.
First off, sir, I mean, how dare you?
That's pretty good. All right. Anyways, let's get back to Wishmaster Part 1. The opening credits, the best I can tell, is there's a demonic soup being made.
Hey, never deny the power of demonic soup. I guarantee you it is nice, hot, spicy tomato soup.
Yeah, I don't think you need to add any hot sauce to the demonic soup.
Probably not, but at the very least, but the only problem is you have to get past that smell of brimstone.
When I'm watching a movie about the Djinn and genies and stuff, I like to have a little bit of a scroll thing, as if it's Star Wars, give me some background. And this one's telling me that fire gave birth to the Djinn.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Meaning they should be some hot motherfuckers.
Yeah, well, you know what? Also, some more lore to introduce the audience. Three wishes given unlocks the Djinn to the rest of the world to take over and dominate.
Yes.
As long as the person who summoned them, I guess, does the 3 wishes.
Yes.
So let's open back in the day. This is 500 BC. Is there a year given?
I don't know if there's a year given. I think it's like 900 years prior to the events we're about to watch. I'm not entirely sure.
We know it's a long time ago.
We know it's Persia, and we know there's a lot of gore going on right now.
Well, okay. Now this very early on is going to establish the Djinn taking the guy who's when he grants wishes.
Yes,
he's a little bit liberal with what's being said and how he interprets that and what he does with these wishes. It's going to be very, very loosely it's people giving wishes.
Well, that's what we get for making deals with the devil.
Okay, well, I'll give you an example. And this very opening thing, the guy who's doing the wishes,
wish for something he's never seen before.
He just simply says, "Show me wonders," which the Djinn interprets as massive death and destruction. Now, maybe the guy just wanted like cocaine and hookers or just a fun time.
I don't think they had cocaine back then.
I don't think
hookers on another hand.
I don't think it meant like everybody at my party gets completely obliterated.
Where one guy's intestines is literally eating a woman's arm.
Now look, this is gonna be repeated over and over again. Show me wonders. The Djinn takes that as everybody's got to explode, basically.
No one explodes. I mean, seriously, we get a tree woman. We get another woman's arm being eaten by intestines. We get one guy's skeleton ripping out of his body and then gets a piggyback ride from another guy. And we get a snake dude, too.
Well, one good thing I'm already happy about is this is clearly not a PG-13 horror movie. We got plenty of gore here. Whatever kills him in this movie are going to be graphic and gory, and that's actually stands out a little bit in this movie. I'm going to give it props on that.
Oh yeah, they're nice. They're practical. No CGI. I'm happy about that. Well, I guess there's some when the wavy walls happen.
True. Now, if horror / fantasy movies have taught us anything, is that anytime there's a djinn or a ghost, not far behind is a wise man, somebody who has all the answers, somebody who's there to thwart the genie.
So what you're saying is this is one of the 3 wise men that watched the birth of Jesus?
Well, anyways, moving on. Sweet Jesus. This wise man has a magic gemstone crystal.
Yeah, that he just made with the demonic soup.
Well, I thought it was demonic soup, but apparently it's the concoction to
make an opal.
Because, with any strong being, there always has to be one thing that can trap it and defeat it, and that is going to be this magic gemstone. Which
is weird considering the fact it's a man-made thing, and the djinn is definitely not a man-made monster.
Well, the djinn, basically he's gotten his the guy here to do 2 wishes, so he's asking for the 3rd wish. Hey, stop the destruction of your party, save some of your party guests, and make the 3rd wish and unlock me to the world. But the wise man's not going to allow that to happen.
Nope, he does the spell and sucks the genie in.
The end. It's all good. It's trapped in the gemstone, and this wise man's going to make sure that for future generations, there'll never be a chance to unlock the djinn. Or
I do have a serious question.
Yes.
Where? So it mentions that if you awaken the djinn, you get 3 wishes. Okay, cool. Where before this gemstone did they awaken the djinn? Was he stuck in a hole or something? What was he in a cave just slumbering away? I mean, how do you go from the world the Sultan was in to a random in-between world to awaken a djinn?
It's very interesting. You're right, because this wise man basically creates a whole new lore for the djinn. But what was going on before that? Because he just made this gemstone. So the only thing I could think of is maybe the wise man got the gemstone from some prophecy that was already in place. But every generation has to create their own new gemstone or something, because somebody did have to guide him to make the gemstone.
Oh, yeah.
So maybe there was something lore-wise in place that we just weren't exposed to. If he just was just sitting in his room and being I think I know how to beat the djinn, and started making the gemstone, that would be kind of weird. So.
Well, it was probably the 2nd wise man. I heard he was the smartest.
Yeah, so this is probably the wise man thing has probably been passed down. All right, this in lore, this djinn thing happens, make a gemstone.
Yes.
So basically maybe that, which our protagonist would have been screwed if she had to actually make a new gemstone. But anyway.
Well, no, he didn't. She didn't have to, because our friend here loves keeping the gemstone on him, because, as you just mentioned, the lore changed when this gemstone was made and he got imprisoned in it.
Yep. And now we're going to go to present time. Now we're going to assume that all this time,
no djinn has been revived since.
The gemstone has been locked into this thing.
The statue of, what do they call it? Araha Mazda?
I think it was a Hyundai Genesis.
A Hyundai Genesis?
It might have been the Mazda. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, who's keeping track these days? Now, leave it to the greed of man, though.
Robert Englund.
The greed of man.
The greed of Robert fucking Englund.
Corporate yuppie in this movie.
The greed of Freddy freaking Krueger wanting souls from this ancient artifact.
Museum yuppie who knows all about history.
He's not even the museum yuppie. He's literally the owner.
Museum yuppie.
And he refuses to let anyone come see his masterpieces.
The great Robert Englund, going to be the first of many, let's call him cameos, even though he has a pretty decent role.
He shows up in 4 times?
He's a real character in the movie. I can't say he's a cameo.
No, yeah. The other 2 we're going to bring up, they're cameos.
Well, Ted Raimi here is definitely a cameo.
Well, it's kind of hard to be anything but a cameo after you get smushed.
Well, so the director of this movie came recommended by Sam Raimi. So that's one of the reasons we got the job, was because Sam Raimi recommended him, which you'll see with the effects there that they're both really good effects.
Well, yeah. I will recommend you, but you must cast my brother in the movie. I don't care which role. Okay.
Now let's talk about his death for a moment.
He gets smushed.
Yeah, wait a minute. This guy
He sees
he himself. Okay, yeah. Let's go to the stupid of this.
he sees the freaking guy messing up with the crane, and his thing is to walk under the
Walk
crate.
exactly over and position himself directly under the cane that seems to be going back and forth and clearly not stable.
And what we do not see, which I'm sure if we focused 100% where Ted was standing, you'd probably see the X on the ground.
Now let me ask you a question, Nick. You've done like kind of this kind of thing before, this kind of work, I feel like.
You know you do not stand under shit.
No, I wanted to go to the operator here. Because I would think the one big no-no would not to be drunk on the job, operating
That
heavy,
is a big no-no.
operating heavy machinery. Where can his coworkers see him over there like getting drunk? Like nobody said anything?
Well, this is also the 1990s.
Where's the supervisor at? I don't...
He's probably doing coke in the office.
All right, well, he's gonna unlock this chain of events. Nobody since Tommy Jarvis has been more responsible for bloodshed than this operator. But I go back to Ted Raimi now, standing underneath, has so much time to move out the way. He's like, oh! He has enough time to like say a whole sentence basically while this crane drops on him.
I mean, movie time wise, yes, he has plenty of time. However, that would have been in real life a very quick event. Like you could blink and it would have smashed him.
Doesn't it feel like the human instinct that would be like just to like
Human
jump
instinct,
out the way?
Well, most humans also know, hey, don't stand under the clear falling hazard where a guy is clearly not in his right mind.
Well, this character probably went to business school and lacked common sense somehow. So he's probably wasted all his time on a degree only to lack the common sense.
Notice how it was Robert Englund who stood there just saying shit.
He didn't look too upset.
Well, he was upset over the piece.
Yeah, but the dude getting smushed, he was like,
yeah, he didn't even remember his name.
It's a fun death scene though. Dude literally gets smashed to pieces, but he holds 60% of the blame. And then
I said 75.
And the guy supervisor also just being like, hey, look, there's Jimmy over there. He's drunk as usual. Go ahead and operate that machinery.
Well, again, that
man?
guy was doing coke, probably getting blowies in the damn office.
Is this what's going on in America right now? Is this the level of
In the 90s, no one gave a shit. There wasn't that much safety stuff. I think a lot of the safety stuff started coming out, was getting more prevalent in the 2005-ish on, because I know when I started working physical labor jobs,
yeah,
you do one thing wrong, fired. You come to work drunk, fired. You come to work high, fired. They don't even need to test you. They just need to see it.
Now they wait till you kill a guy,
fired,
and he probably
in jail.
He probably got suspended. That's all. Back then, I'm saying
that depends on how the court case went.
Well, okay, this guy, he was clearly
because Sam Raimi.
Well, let's just throw it out there. Was this guy charged with murder? You think? I mean, he was clearly at fault, right?
Manslaughter, involuntary manslaughter.
Okay, I can buy it. Now,
if he wasn't drunk, yeah, it'd be seen more as an operational accident.
Yeah,
but
now, thankfully, another construction guy on the scene sees the crystal, the gemstone,
takes it out,
secures it.
Yes, and sells it to a pawn shop.
And good for him. And you might as well make some money off this tragedy.
I mean, $200.
All right, let's cut to what I wrote down here. Guy trying to get out of friend zone.
This scene is just so awkward.
Sad.
It's like, dude, you're trying too hard for a woman who obviously only sees you as a friend.
I try to understand.
Like, I'm not gay, but the guy was a good-looking guy. He could have gotten any woman he wanted. If this girl you're going after says no the first time, you say, okay, I am fine being your friend. Go find another woman.
No, what makes it the most weird is though, she says like they're best friends. You're best friends, and you're casually pushing to like do more. And she's clear like, no, I'm not feeling it. But he still keeps pushing for it. It felt very awkward.
And the whole thing, it didn't even feel like she had any kind of... It's one story if she was maybe having some feelings already, but she just wasn't... She was just worried. But all we're getting is these lines. I'm like, your lines and your emotions are two totally different things. And we're not seeing the emotion that you do want to be with this guy.
I know, she made a good point to it. She was like, listen, when you do that, if it doesn't work out, you almost potentially ruin the friendship you had. So it's like, she's like, the one good thing in my life is the friendship. Like, I just like...
Fuck the sister, apparently.
I immediately... Yeah, that's true. Although she seems to care a lot about this later on. But yeah, where the hell is that? My one good thing, huh? Okay, lady. Yeah, but I mean, not that he's gonna be along for long, but I didn't particularly like the guy after this. It's just
I know if I was in Josh's case, it would be okay. I waited till after the guy actually knew how long he waited to ask her out, but it'd be just a quick, hey, this is how I feel. What do you say? If she says no, okay,
move on.
Okay, yeah, move on.
But you're not gonna be able to convince her like, hey, this is a good idea by just like pushing it onto her.
No, because all you're gonna do is turn her away.
Yeah, and then like I said, you mess with the friendship. She took it very nicely, I think, and just moved on. And she goes to where basically, I guess she works.
Yep, she goes to where she works. She's a part of the appraising team that the pawnbroker goes to.
So unfortunately, she's going to be just randomly caught up into this world of this gemstone.
Yep, the Djinn gemstone.
Now, am I right that she blows on the diamond, which seems to activate it?
she sexily, allegedly blew on it.
This is Jason Voorhees? I don't understand.
Because I was about to say, Genie, Djinn, rubbing on it probably as well woken him, but then I'm thinking, well, no, the pawnbroker probably would have rubbed on it too. Because, he's making sure of the inconsistencies or any of that to make a fair bargain, even though obviously it was nowhere near a fair bargain.
The wrong place, wrong time for her. Now, the only thing, if I'm having a bad day, I mean, let's see, I've been friend zoned. The only thing worse than that would be to...
As the gemstone blows up in front of his face, instead of, oh, there's a malfunction. I can't get the computer to stop. Run.
Get out.
Yeah.
Something you've never seen before? Leave.
Exactly. It's like, you can't get the computer to stop, and you're worried about the malfunction. The way he was acting, he knew what was about to happen. Get the hell out of there.
Man, they can't be paying you that much for this job. Just move on.
Well, apparently, I guess they were paying him enough to die for it, because that's what happens, and the Djinn is an asshole.
Okay, again, to go back to, I'm going to point out always when he's playing loose with this idea of a wish.
I don't understand how this is loose. He completely changed the wish. He's like, do you wish for your pain to end? Yes. And then the guy's in even more pain.
He is, isn't he? He doesn't just... That would mean like making him instantly die.
Yeah.
So the pain is going away.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, whatever happens in the next 20 seconds looks pretty damn painful to me. Come on, Djinn. What you doing, man?
Like, what? Is the Djinn literally just taking his life force from him? Is that how he's killing him?
Plus, like I said, the guy saying yes, someone saying yes, shouldn't constitute him making a wish. There has to be some higher governing power that's being like, okay, that counts as a wish. Go ahead, Djinn Master. But like,
I mean, we already talked about the three wise men. Probably it's God saying, okay, that counts.
But it's like, whoever it is like very like, nah, that counts. I guess. Yeah, it's pretty loose. I mean, goodness, jeez. So the Djinn is basically going to go on a mission here because he wants to basically
get as many souls as he can to power up
by getting people to make wishes, and then he'll be able to collect on the souls,
including a homeless man.
Now, this homeless guy is so funny. He was in Pumpkinhead. I don't know if you remember him, but I remember I mentioned that.
Folks, I guess you can't mention that.
No, folks. You should guys know we did a unreleased Pumpkinhead podcast where the audio was all screwed up. Maybe one day I'll revisit it, but like
next year.
This guy, I told you, he plays a homeless man in like 15 different movies. So this is another one that I didn't even think of. When the doctor, the pharmacist dismisses him and goes in, this homeless dude has like the best insults of all time. Like he's going to town on him, but some of that shit is like hilarious. Like,
yeah, up until he realized he made a deal with the devil. Oh wait, wrong demon. Sorry.
Okay, so now again, Wishmaster just hanging out in the alleyway, I guess, kind of manipulates him into like, saying this is one that actually this is a real thing because he gets him to actually say what he wants to happen.
It's like I wish a guy would get cancer and die.
Which, I mean, listen, the homeless guy has no way of knowing, even though he should be a little bit suspicious of like, yo, who the hell is this guy? And
also, why do you look so funny?
Yeah, I know it's dark outside, but
come on, we can clearly see that you see his face.
If the camera lighting can pick up he's a monster, then your eyes should be able to pick up he's a monster too. I don't know.
Especially with his red eyes staring daggers at you.
First thing is that the pharmacist, the Dune pharmacist,
gets very fast spreading cancer.
Yeah, okay, let's talk about that for a second. Wouldn't he be like, him getting cancer be like, okay, the next like 6 months he's screwed, but like, wouldn't it be like, what he
died instantly?
He combusted. Like that would... Is that cancer? Like what? I don't understand.
It seemed more like a plague disease than cancer.
Yeah, it's like the Djinn again, just being like, all right, just make the guy explode in front of you so you can see the effect. The actor playing the pharmacist, none other than character of Reggie, one of the main characters from the Phantasm series.
I was wondering why he looked so familiar.
So this movie keeps throwing at you like these main characters from other series. This is the Phantasm guy.
Oh, granted, Reggie is a perverted bastard in those movies, but he's still our hero, technically.
I still got to go through those. And now this is a not fun fact at all. This is art imitating life, but the homeless guy, the actor, ended up dying from cancer.
Well, damn.
So I don't know if the Wishmaster in real life eventually collected his soul or some shit. But yeah, the guy unfortunately died from cancer.
Well, I guess it would make sense that the world is going downhill. The Djinn finally got his 3 wishes.
If there's a gemstone out there, then somebody has definitely unlocked the
Because I'm sorry, I can't think of a single person, at least not in my friend group, that would not make all 3 wishes.
If somebody actually says like, "Hey, but your soul is gonna be mine,"
I wouldn't be making that wish.
I wouldn't make that wish either.
Like I said, me personally, like, dude, a soul's a little too important to be wishing on something like that.
Here's why we wouldn't do it though. Just the simple fact that we've seen enough horror movies to know that something bad's gonna happen. If someone's like comes to like, "Oh, do this wish," you immediately be like, "Wishmaster, this sounds too familiar." Definitely, some people would be like, $1 million easily. Or you'd have to be very thoughtful and be like, "Okay, I'm gonna phrase this in a way that he can't use it against me." You have to be very thoughtful about.
I want infinite number of wishes.
See, that's so specific. I wonder if, but I think there's probably some governing rule to be like, "Nah, you're trying to get over."
Well, so they don't really specify that there's rules for the actual wish maker. They only give those rules to the people of souls he's trying to collect.
Well, we know that you can wish the Wishmaster himself to be dead.
Can't do that because it's eternal.
She tries it, and he's like, "Nope, internal." So there is something governing like that. You can't just wish him dead. But yeah, but there's got to be something in place to not make you get an infinite amount of wishes. It just wouldn't make sense.
Well, then again, you'll also just imagine you get that, and he actually has to grant that. So now you have an infinite number of wishes. So he's constantly on you. What's your wish? What's your wish? And all of a sudden, you're just riding down a roller coaster from King's Dominion, just going down the drop zone, and all of a sudden the Wishmaster just pops up in front of you, makes you lose all immersion, and goes, "What's your wish?"
Yeah, apparently the more wishes you make, the more he becomes interconnected with you. So if you do have infinite wishes, he's going to be like in your head all the time.
It's like, oh, you should have done the other position.
The reason I don't think it works is like it just makes the Wishmaster's whole thing purposeless because like the whole idea is like 3 wishes and then he gets to take over. If it's infinite amount of wishes, it's kind of like
yeah, but maybe after
he would just like self-destruct. It wouldn't make sense.
Well, here's the funny thing: it'd be okay. You get I got my 3 wishes. The world's taking over, but you're still there just making wishes. At the end of the world.
You're like, man,
it's like, I want to be king of the Djinn.
It's like, can you bring like 6 people back to life? Like,
it's like, yeah, I'm getting bored here.
You didn't kill everybody and like.
Well, I don't think the Djinn would have killed everybody. I'm pretty sure the Djinn would have enslaved the human race. Why does Josh look like a zombie in the dream sequence we get?
I don't know.
Because, he didn't die that long ago.
Yeah, but they really couldn't show what he looked like after he was dead because...
But a zombie?
He was a disaster. The construction guy gives her some information, which leads her to Robert Englund.
Yep, she meets Belmont. While the Djinn is off to a medical school to take Andrew DeVoff's face.
Now, I'll be honest. If the Djinn just kept his like demon face the entire time, but still had the voice, I'd have been okay with that. I didn't necessarily need the face. But seeing how it only works because Andrew DeVoff's face is so sinister. His face looks so evil that it actually is just as creepy as the Djinn version of it.
And apparently he's attractive because remember that one woman was gushing over him up and down.
Yeah.
That's why and he was checking her out. That's why I was asking, why does a Djinn have sexual feelings over this woman?
No. But he said it. He actually said, he said, no matter what, I can appreciate beauty in different forms. So he's like saying, I don't think he himself, but he was like, okay, amongst these people, this is beauty. And then, because if he felt that strongly, I don't think he would have turned her to a faceless mannequin.
Well, she wasn't faceless. She still had her face.
No, she had an ugly face then.
Well, no, she was still... to be fair...
It was a mannequin and the eyes were like soulless.
Well, that's because he took her... That's probably because since she was a mannequin, she probably couldn't breathe anymore, so she suffocated and died.
Some people within their wish, they get like a double whammy of like actual death and then your soul gets taken later on. But some get like, okay, I'm blind. You've already screwed up my life, and now you're gonna eventually take my soul too.
Honestly, I think I'd rather be dead.
Yeah, I'm like the dude that got blinded was kind of like
He
he
had
had a double. I'm like, you're gonna live for a while, miserable, and then when I'm taking your soul, it's like, man, that poor guy.
So I know this ain't technically a shootout,
Yeah.
but the police station scene.
Okay. You know what my notes said there? Djinn goes right to the detective's office, and the detective is an idiot.
That's fair.
One of the stupidest detectives I've ever seen.
Well, yeah, because he apparently has the notes for Alex right there on his desk.
Okay.
Like, if this case is closed, you wouldn't have the case notes on your desk.
Okay. Please, I hope the police force has better detectives than this. This random guy walks into your precinct, sits down at your table, starts questioning you about a case you're working on, right?
A case that you closed.
Yeah, he's asking very specific questions. Where does she live at? Very suspicious questions. You're super suspicious of this guy. And in the middle of that, he's just like, hey, what are you angry about or something like that? And you suddenly go off on this random tangent about the other guy over there and wanting to make sure that guy gets like, what?
So I know.
Why are you acting like you're sitting in front of a friendly face when you're already suspicious of him?
So I know what it is. Are you ready for this? It's the Lucifer effect. So there's a show out. It's called Lucifer. Lucifer is our main character, and his ability, because all the angels and archangels have abilities, his ability is to bring out everyone's most deepest, darkest desires. What if they took that same ability originally for Lucifer from the Wishmaster? Wishmaster, even though the people are unknowing because he doesn't full out bring it out, he forces your deepest, darkest desires out in the form of a wish.
Which I'm perfectly fine with, but I would want that to be spelled out in the movie. I need that a part of the lore.
Well, it is kind of spelled out in the movie.
We're having to like take a great leaps here to make it make sense.
It is kind of spelled out in the movie just a little bit. You want to know how I know? Because absolutely everyone fucking does this.
Because everybody's an idiot. No, he's
not even the only one.
He's making sure he's getting the dumbest people possible to make these wishes. This detective.
Oh no, that's part 2.
Oh well, I don't want to get to that. Yeah, this detective. You should be arresting him. He's asking questions. You should be like, hey, we're gonna question you, but he's over here like making conversation, like as if he's his best friend or a fellow detective.
Before they finally killed the attacker.
That was like, it felt like so extra.
And also, well, I mean, the Djinn used it as a way to escape because the police had him down. But that kind of goes against our detective's wish, though. His wish was to get him down for murder 1. Killing the guy is not the detective's wish.
He wants him to go to jail, and you're kind of letting the guy off the hook by just like
killing him.
Yeah.
So now we get our lore rating where the Stone of Fire is pretty much brought up. Mm-hmm. And this is where the stone becomes a lot more prevalent now. Is it because the Djinn spent like 900 plus years in this gemstone that he needs that gem holds his power or something?
This is why I think that the gemstone thing had to be there before that opening scene with the wise men. It had to be something the wise men had read in a book or something and was like, oh, this is part of the Djinn's lore. If that was the first appearance for it, would make sense because it's built into his thing. He has to collect the souls into the gemstone.
Yeah, but we clearly see the gemstone being created, and I know a Djinn's not going to create that gemstone. Why would the Djinn create something to imprison it with?
So what if there was a previous gemstone that had gotten destroyed, but some wise man left a blueprint for the next wise man to like, in case this gets missing, here's how you create a new one. Well, that's the only thing I can think of.
Well, then,
because he had to have a formula recipe to make it.
But this Djinn, right? But then the Djinn would still need that gemstone in a sense to create its power, if that's the case.
So within that movie, let's say there's a prequel from the opening scene. Within that story, he's already past the point where he's done the thing with the gemstone. The souls are in. Then somehow the gemstone gets destroyed, and the dude's like, "Oh, crap! I gotta trap him in there. Is the only way to do this."
Maybe, but it does seem a little out there because now again we're reaching for stars on this point because the way the movie makes it sound with the opening scene and then straight to that, because the Djinn didn't have the gemstone, the wise man did. If the Djinn needed that gemstone, he would have kept it on him, just like he does in this movie. He always has that gemstone on him. Even when the gemstone was destroyed, he put it back together with his powers and took it with him.
Well, look, we can question all day. We have to acknowledge one thing. This isn't the writer of Citizens Kane here, all right? We're not talking about prestigious writer. We're talking about mostly this is B-movie horror-ish type stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So
Speaking of B-movie horror,
yeah.
Jason Voorhees.
You know what's hilarious about this scene?
What?
So he's playing a security guard, right? His uniform says Jay Voorhees on the uniform. So,
I actually missed that.
that's pretty good.
But yeah, he actually gives this guy technically, with the way this Djinn's been acting, he technically gives this guy 2 wishes.
So we should establish that at one point in the movie it is said that the person who summons you gets the 3 wishes, but everybody else
Only
one
gets
wish.
So
Yeah.
But yeah, because the way the Djinn goes is I would like, I wish, yada yada. So Jay Voorhees, it literally says, I would like you to leave.
That's
And
kind of a funny thing because like he's like, no,
he's like, my one weakness.
I can't manipulate that into something bad.
And
That's an example where he couldn't think of anything to manipulate. He was just like,
And he's
I
even
have to
being
leave.
forced to walk away. You can see
I
it.
must get in there. No.
And then he goes, that's something I would like to see. It's like, okay, wait a minute. You already got your wish. So why is this Djinn now giving him a second wish? I understand it's so you can get to the next plot point, but...
Not like that, but saying that's something I would love to see, that's not a wish, right? That's like...
I mean, the first one then wouldn't be a wish because he said, I would like you to leave.
They're both not wishes. They're both sort of just like, oh, well, no, but he asked...
They're both
but he asked him before that, he's like, you know, what would you wish for? What do you want? I want you to leave. So he's taking that as like that. But this is just him, no question being asked, just a statement of like, you know, I would love to see that. Now, you could say Kane Hodder happens to be a dumbass here because Jay Voorhees, because dude's walking away, you've already won the battle, but you just had to throw that shit in at the end.
Well, I mean, also look at Kane Hodder. If this was me or you as this villain, you know, not as an actual Wishmaster, but as us, you think we could go through that, man?
Nope, I'd have been like...
Kane Hodder would beat our asses.
I'd be like, let me in. No. All right, thank you, sir.
Pretty much.
I'll make other arrangements.
Exactly.
I would go to the back door and be like, I hope the back door's open. Nope. Oh,
No, this
plans
would be
on.
me. It's like, let me in there. No. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. And then you'd see me on the news the next day because, you know, Jason Voorhees just killed my...
All right, can you try to, in words, break down to me what the hell happened to Kane Hodder here? What was his death scene?
He got shattered like glass.
Yeah, I guess.
Because Andrew DeVolf walked right through him. You know, I kind of wish that they gave a little bit more power to the Wishmaster in form of physicality. Because I feel like I understand Wishmaster can't do a lot of things without wishing. But I feel like they should have been able to at least allow him to be able to say, physically subdue people.
Yeah, he didn't
Not kill them per se.
He didn't have any of that.
But, because when you see all these names of horror, Kane Hodder, Tony Todd, you're thinking, okay, we're getting somewhat of a horror fight. And then it just turns into...
A quick wish.
Yeah, and I'm like... Because they do the same thing in, I think, Hatchet 2. And that one was a physical killer. Granted, you know, one of the guys who played Leatherface actually does get a full-blown fight with him, but still,
the movie does feel like a passing the torch because you have all these horror villains lined up here for Wishmaster to go through. And you're like, wow, like, if this would have made more money or been a bigger hit, like, they really wanted this guy to be, like, the next big thing there, so...
And I honestly would have liked it if they did it correctly. In the sequels, you'll find out they didn't.
Well, speaking of breaking your lore and giving 2 wishes, what about this guy who wants some money?
Back to back.
He's really, really saying screw the internal logic here.
So at this point, might as well just say, you know what? I gave her 3 wishes. Go ahead.
I got to bend the rules. The guy, he's like, first like, well, let me change your thing over to gold.
Well, to be fair, he kind of had to with this guy because the guy was actually being a good employer in a sense by saying, no, I'm not going to tell you where Alex lives. I'm not going to tell you where she's at. And he goes, well, what do you want? Do you want this item to be more valuable? Yes. Turns it to gold. He goes, okay. Now where does Alex go? It's like, I'm not telling you. It's like, what will make you tell me?
Okay, but the guy's still an idiot because the thing is, Again, he asked, "What's my limit?" Your imagination. $1 million, the best you can come up with? Your entire imagination?
We are talking about 1997. By now,
even
if he
then?
invested it right, it would be probably closer to 500.
Okay, but if there's no limit, why not ask for 50 million, 100 million? Why would you 1 million? You're like, even back then, that's like you buy one big house, 70% of your money.
See, I'm not buying a big house. I'd be buying me an RV.
This character probably is buying a big house.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And also notice how he had to get that million. I guess his mom had that much money in her bank.
That was pretty creative writing, I would say, to make that how he gets it, but also horrible. Because like the mom didn't do anything. Like
no, she was just going to visit her son.
It's being a good mom too. She's like, yep, he's a beneficiary, and then she's on the Final Destination plane.
Right.
What kind of bullshit is that?
When did Final Destination come out again?
Like 3 years after this.
Oh, okay.
Anytime there's like a plane crash, I was like, oh, Final Destination plane.
Because if it was like a year before this, that would have been another nod to another good horror movie.
Yeah, if they would have just shown like what's the damn flight number?
Flight 180. Or Flight 187.
I think 180.
180? Okay.
Yeah, it sticks in your head. Let's talk about Wendy, the professor, who is one of those characters like a wise man who gives a lot of background, although
I think she was a descendant of the wise man just by the way she knew about this. Like, how would you know about this creature if you've never seen it before? There's not exactly a whole lot of lore about them unless you were quite literally looking it up.
But even then, like, the lore would be like, again, all those people are dead, so it's like, how was it passed down in that way? Without it feeling like it's like just a fairy tale. How would you, like, I guess like it's in the mold of religion basically, but I don't know. If you're talking about like jinns granting wishes and genies and stuff like that, it'd be like, yeah, well, okay. But okay, so we'll say this: the Wishmaster finally completes phase 1 of his mission, which is getting all the souls into the gemstone.
Which, yeah, there's something I need to discuss when we do part 2.
We see the dumb detective freaking out. The blind dude's gone. All these characters are gone because their souls are gone now.
Yep, and our main girl Alex is getting a gorgasm.
Having a gorgasm because part of the connection with the Wishmaster is anytime he kills somebody. Now, this movie being amazing with eternal logic, we're going to go cut to Wendy's apartment.
Yes.
Where Wendy
is dead.
Has a lot to say about the Djinn to her.
But not actually saying a damn thing about it.
And keeps giving like
suggestions.
A slyish evil grin. Did you notice that too sometimes? Yeah. Like the actor's a good job being like, I'm going to play this different. Like this slight twinkle in her eye.
So what I feel like she had to do is spend a day with Andrew DeVolf and be like, okay, I have to copy your mannerisms.
I saw that.
Now I'm playing you.
I saw that hint of the same way he does, like that evilish grin.
Well, she had to. I mean, she's technically playing him at this point because, spoiler alert, it's actually the Djinn.
So the Djinn Wendy is like a better host than real Wendy because she's like, can I get you something to eat? Are you hungry? Like she's actually a better host than real Wendy.
Well, she's also trying to trick him, but that makes me wonder. Every single death and
trick
soul
with what? With appetizers?
Like, every single death and soul taking we get a gorgasm. And yet this damn scene, this woman, I guess, is so special that she doesn't get a gorgasm. Is it because she's not? I can't say it's because she's close. She's not close to our main girl Alex, because Alex literally saw some kid she never knew get his eyes taken out.
There's only one explanation for the lack of gorgasm in this scene. Plot hole.
Yeah.
Massive plot. Well, not a massive plot hole. It doesn't really affect the story, but they wanted to have a scene where he's like tricking her in a way. He describes what happened to Wendy, which doesn't seem to make sense either, but he's saying that she was afraid, so take away my fear.
Well, yeah, it's like, yeah, she said she was afraid, so she wished for her fear to be away. So in his mind, I guess that means kill her.
But
I wonder how she died.
As you're killing her, are you saying that she wasn't afraid when you killed her?
Well, she's not afraid anymore.
This Djinn has his own urban dictionary with his own stupid definitions about things.
So Alex makes her first wish to have him get shot in the face.
Which I think, okay.
Which was a sample wish.
Okay, sample wish. I mean, if the Djinn's smart, he just like says, nope, that's actually the first wish afterwards. But apparently he's stupid too.
Well, it's pretty much our final girl part of this. Just like Jason gets into slap fights, Djinn gets into stupidity.
Every evil villain has to be stupid when it comes to the protagonist. The first wish is, I mean, it makes sense. Your human brain goes to, well, just my wish is that you kill yourself, that you're dead. That eliminates the problem. Djinn probably expects that, so just calmly shoots himself.
Why he said, "Oh, how original."
He does add in a fun note, though. He says, "That hurt like hell." Very interesting. That actually hurt him. So,
well, of course, you just blew your brains out. That's probably how he got stupid.
He's a Djinn, though. He's a demon.
That's probably how he got stupid. He has no more brains.
If it hurt, then probably he has brain damage. Yeah. I'm saying it hurting like that's pain is in that way it's a human emotion. It's like it shouldn't be in his wiring to be like that hurt like hell. You're a Djinn. I don't expect that from you.
Well, I'm assuming he still feels some pain. Like I guarantee you,
if Jason Voorhees doesn't, I mean, come on.
I guarantee you, if I took a sledgehammer to his knee, it would probably break for a second before he bends it back together.
But that invites a slippery slope. Like you stomp on his foot, he's like, "Oh, my toe!" Like that. Huh? He's a Djinn. That was stupid.
Maybe the toe is his weakness.
It's like, yeah, it's like, okay, it's like, I'm just wondering, like, oh, he feels pain? Like, can I poke him in the eye? If I hit him in the eye, it's like, oh, I can't see. Like, I mean.
For like a second.
Oh, my God. All right, let's talk about Tony Todd because.
Well, first we got to get to her actual first wish of getting to know what the Djinn is.
Oh, yeah.
And he decides to be an ass about it.
He takes him into his lair.
He takes her into the opal and says, "Yeah, I am this, I am that, I am despair." I'm like, "That's not my wish." He goes, "Well, maybe next time be more careful with your words."
And apparently also he works for PETA.
Because he has a doggy. That dog, the Djinn, if she dies, I'm pretty sure he can't fulfill this prophecy. And he is being very liberal about what can happen to her.
Yeah, I mean, he sticks Muffins the Djinn on her, which has...
Muffin the Djinn dog.
Muffin the Djinn dog. But I don't know. I think he has to have some control over, like, I'm going to make sure it doesn't kill you, but it's going to frighten you. It's
going to maul you, but you're not going to die from it.
He has to have complete control of the dog, so...
Well, yeah. I mean, notice how it didn't actually get her, even though it could have.
Yeah.
So she wishes out.
I like the effects there. It looks cool.
So she wishes out, and now we're at the Tony Todd scene.
Wait. One thing is she wishes to be back to her apartment.
Without him there.
But he leaves a voicemail.
Well, no, he calls her.
He calls her, but it's like I think it goes to...
And that's when she answers the phone and screams, "Fuck you."
It said in the IMDb trivia that she didn't actually, like, click any button on the phone to where it would, like, you have to click, like, a talk button. I have to go back and check. She just picks up the phone without doing anything. Because it wouldn't make sense.
For all we know, she probably had one of those phones that automatically answered the minute it came off the receiver.
Good point, probably true. But it's just hilarious that back at the apartment and Wishmaster somewhere on a payphone, like, I'm still coming after ya.
It's like we're more connected now.
All right, Tony Todd. This movie doesn't believe in competent security guards.
Well, Tony Todd seems competent enough, but then again, this is also...
Oh, he starts off competent.
But then again, this is also a guy that I feel like me and you could take on. Not Kane Hodder, but at least Tony Todd, we could take him on.
When I hear that voice, I'm like, he sounds too much like Candyman. I'm not messing with this guy.
Well, Andrew Devolve will.
Oh, yeah. One of the few human beings that has a more intimidating voice than Tony Todd. Wow. Yeah, they're back and forth, but it's just, again, that hypnotized shit must be in play because Tony Todd's treating him like a threat. You're a threat to me.
Because he is.
But then he gets sucked into, like,
wish to escape.
I want to escape. Like, why would you say that, Tony Todd? That made no sense. And also the
actual execution of the wish.
He said, I wish to escape. How does that translate to him being locked in a water thing?
A pool of water. Well, it's because Houdini did it in under 5 minutes.
Yeah, but he wished to escape, which means he should be able to escape. Right?
If he can do the same magic trick that Houdini did.
This is really like this is definitely the most egregious of Wishmaster applying his own interpretation here. All right, well listen, Robert Englund, when he's not being Freddy, he likes to throw big parties, host big parties,
and his parties is very hosted. And Andrew Devolve's talking to him like, yeah, I know a party that people talked for centuries.
Now again, Robert Englund. All he's implying is that, hey, do you have a connection to cocaine and hookers? But this Wishmaster is going to go off the rails here and say, hey, what would be more memorable is death and destruction. But I tell you again, if everybody at the party dies, how is it memorable? To who? They're all dead.
The souls that he would take if he actually accomplishes his mission. Which, again, he is trying his damnedest to kill this woman.
I don't know.
Well, I'm sorry. When he finally meets up with her again face to face after he power drives two people together by doing the little finger thing.
Some of the gore in this is like amazing. There's some crazy kills going on here.
But then he goes up to the woman, to Alex, and she goes, well, what are you going to do if you kill me, huh? Where's your last wish? He goes, oh, I don't need to kill you. I need you to wish you were. And then chucks a fucking trident. A trident where, if she did not move, would have impaled her face.
It's the one thing I can compare it to is like in the original Scream movie where the first time Ghostface attacks Sydney, it looks like he's like about to stab her in the face, but you know that their plan is to just scare her. But it's like he's like literally coming down with her like with a knife. It's like
at the same time we were also talking about Stu here.
Stu got overexcited, I guess, but it looked like he was about to stab the shit out of her. So it's like. Yeah. Well, yeah. So his strategy is consistent, though. It's the same thing as the beginning. Make the party full of bloodshed, and then make her want to wish it away. That's the strategy. He's using the same thing he did before, and also there's no wise man here to mess him up either. Yeah. But we do need to kill Robert Englund. That's for sure. Yeah,
by making him puke out a worm baby.
This was a Freddy type death. This is
very. That's not why they gave it to him.
That's very appropriate for Robert Englund. So.
Imagine if they got Tony Todd with bees.
Oh,
they put him in a beehive, and that was his escape. His escape from a beehive.
Maybe they should have done a better job of like having each death with those like has something to do with their character.
I mean, at least the Jason Kane Hodder's one had a fun nod to it.
Yeah, but you could also like have something where like maybe hit in the head with a machete or something.
I mean, he was disintegrated just as much as any other Jason kill.
Yeah. I don't know what you could have done. Yeah, the beehive thing, maybe something with that you could have figured out. Anyways, let's get to basically her last wish.
Well, first we get to watch a bunch of guards getting mutilated by a bunch of attractions.
Yeah, this is like that Ben Stiller movie Night at the Museum, but just like a very horror version of it.
Well, actually, there is already a horror version. It was called Waxwork.
Oh.
They go into a wax museum, and each different spot is a different thing that actually comes to life and kills them. One woman got trapped in a vampire pit.
Sounds kind of fun.
She got eaten by a vampire.
Was it a good movie? Did you enjoy it?
The first one, it was pretty decent. I haven't watched the second. I don't feel like watching the second.
What you watched, Wishmaster 3?
Not again.
Okay.
I'll probably watch it over Troll 2. But
hey, man. Troll 2 random diss. All right, now can we get to her?
Yes, we can get to her last wish.
Now, her last wish, I'm conflicted because I'm like, oh, that's smart. But also, why didn't you think of that like 6 days ago?
Well, this is why. Because she had to go through the speech she gave her basketball team. Stillness. You must have stillness. Otherwise, you're going to miss everything. The whole time, she was frantic, panicked. She wasn't calm. She didn't have time to think. But then when she finally closed her mind off to everything going on around her...
The most basic answer
yes,
came to her. So this whole time, she's been so... Okay, now, stillness. Maybe she actually was thinking of, hey, if this dude wasn't drunk, he'd have some stillness. It's really a message against alcoholism.
I mean, to be fair.
If he had a steady hands, that crate doesn't drop. And we're all good to go.
And Ted Raimi would be alive for another movie.
Yeah, he has Evil Dead Sam Raimi cameos to make. So, I mean, it's a very simplistic wish, but it makes sense. But what's funny to me is like the Djinn hears the wish and he takes it in, but then like 5 seconds later he's like, oh no! Like he reacts like, what a stupid wish. And then he's just like...
Well, it's because he didn't know the name of the person she's even talking about until he granted the wish.
But the right reaction should have been confusion. He should have been like, huh? But he's more like, dumb bitch. Like, he should have been confused, but instead he's like, "Oh, you used your wish on that," and it's just a funny reaction from him. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I guess whatever higher power grants the wishes for him, decided to not play around with what the wish was instead of changing it a little bit.
The higher power really doesn't like the Djinn because he was just like, he's like, gotcha. It's like she gotcha.
Instead of being like, oh no, you don't want him drunk? Okay, Benadryl.
Benadryl, yeah.
Benadryl, because trust me, that shit will knock you out. That crate would have fallen on Ted Raimi, and then we'd get the movie all over again.
I agree that it should have ended with like something happens where the same chain of events are going to happen again, but through some other means. Like maybe he doesn't drop the crate, but now because he didn't drop the crate, something else randomly happens.
I mean, in a sense, something does happen, and then we get a part 2.
Yes, but within this movie, it's self-contained. I'm talking.
I still feel like with this one that with the way the Djinn has done all these wishes, he literally should have. If you can't kill a Djinn, you can't change the past, which means Ted Raimi is still dead. You still have the damn thing, and motherfucker, you still got to make this third wish.
He can change the past, but it has to still be in the realm of relating to the wish somewhat.
It would have been. He wouldn't have been drunk. He would have been high.
No, but you're adding in him being high then as something he's manipulating that doesn't have nothing to do with the wish.
It's not manipulation because the guy. Well, it is still.
It is.
He manipulates everything. Look at Tony Todd.
He can't. It would be something extra. It just. He still has to. The Tony Todd thing was still related, like we said, to. I wish to escape, but all they can do then is say, "Hey, he's not drunk," but he can't add in the extra thing of. Oh, but he has a cocaine addiction. And that would be too much.
Benadryl.
I agree something should have happened, but it has to be not he's controlling it, just something randomly happens by chance then. If he's controlling it, it just doesn't make sense. Something random should have happened. But we get the ultimate happy ending because really it resets the chain of events so everybody who died is alive again.
And he changes the past, meaning he is all fucking powerful. He could have put a damn Benadryl bottle right there.
You're asking a lot.
Not asking for shit. You know how much Benadryl costs?
He's not even
$10.
He's in the moment. Mind you, think about his reaction was like he
overestimated her damn thought process too. Underestimated.
When he made the wish and then it sunk in, he started to panic. So he wasn't smart enough to like on the moment be like, very quick, be like, nope, Benadryl. Like,
exactly.
He was so panicked. He was just like, oh no, she thwarted me. Like he clearly wasn't thinking that hard about it.
Fucking Benadryl.
I only got one problem with the ending.
What's that? Ted Raimi still alive?
No. And it's very much the wrong choice for the ending. The guy she friend zoned, now she wants to date him.
Well, that's because she remembers everything.
Yeah, she remembers her best friend, but she wants to date him now. That's before everything happened, we saw what her feelings were towards him.
Well, again, she remembers all the events that just happened, so now she's afraid of losing him, so she agrees to go out with him, even though it's against what she wants.
Bad ending. We know she's not interested in him in that way, so it's kind of a weird ending.
Yeah, well.
What should have been just like, I get what they're doing, and he's like, in this reality, he hasn't told her anything yet. So he's like, wait, how does she know? But, just them as best friends. She has her best friend back, that should be enough. And by the way, the one good thing in her life is back. Sister, nah. Who knows?
Oh, right. The sister. Sister no one gives a shit about. I mean, we see her alive still.
Yeah, well, I mean, she could have been like...
But that's another thing. You mentioned, he can only be confounded by wishes. He put her in a painting, which he says was apparently Beaumont's other wish.
I think illusion. I don't think it was really her. I think that was just...
set her the fuck on fire. Who wished for her to be on fire?
That was all a distortion.
Was that Alex's secret wish? Was for her sister to be on fire so she didn't have to take care of her?
Is there some beneficiary thing we don't know about with them? Maybe that's her key to $1 million.
Well, their parents are already dead. What money do they have? They work in the same place.
The movie made $15 million on a $5 million budget. It was profitable. I don't think it did as well as they expected, even though it was profitable enough to make them want to do a sequel. The sequel and the rest of the movies will be direct-to-video. So I don't think it was like what they were expecting.
Well, to be fair, the sequel was direct to sci-fi. Or the third one was direct to sci-fi.
Never go direct sci-fi.
Never go direct sci-fi.
I've not seen one good outcome from that. All right, final thoughts.
I guess.
You want to go first? You want to go first?
I think we've been doing it. You go first for the past couple of times. I guess I'll go have a stab at it. So
Wait, why don't you have a wish at it?
I wish at it.
Yeah, I wish you to go ahead and go first.
Okay. So I wish this movie had a better main character, honestly. I did not care for Alex. She wasn't terrible. She wasn't Chris from Friday the 13th Part 3.
Yeah, I'll just add in the actress. I don't know. There's some moments where she delivered lines like very weirdly.
Poorly.
Yeah.
But Andrew Duvall as our villain was definitely the best choice for this movie. Robert Englund, Tony Todd, and Kane Hodder all having some pretty decent cameos. Especially Robert Englund because he got more to do, speaking wise.
And Ted Raimi, of course.
Yeah, and Ted Raimi
Whoa!
getting smashed. The effects are really good. With all these practical effects, everything looked real.
For the budget.
The movie was fun.
It wasn't afraid to show you the gore.
Yeah, movie was definitely fun. And only problem is, and I hate to say it because I don't love this movie. I like this movie, but our villain, compared to the ones I just named, yeah, our villain's actually the weakest. I mean, seriously, put him up against Freddy. Tell me who's going to win. Exactly, Freddy. Put him up against Jason. Well, Jason can't talk, so how can he make wishes? Fucking Jason's going to win that. So at the end of the day...
You could take out Pumpkinhead.
Pumpkinhead can't talk, so how can he make a wish?
Yeah, that's true. What about Chucky?
Would Chucky even make a wish? Or
Chucky?
would Chucky just try to stab him?
Chucky would want to let me skip this whole curse process and put me back in a human body.
Yeah, he stopped caring about being in a human body in, what was it, Seed?
Oh, God, don't make me think of Seed. So,
at the end of the day, the movie is fun to watch. It's definitely one you want to turn your brain off because when you see all the plot, when you think about it and see the plot holes, you're not going to be too happy about it. But overall, I'm giving this movie a 2.5. It's average, but it's still fun to watch every now and then.
Yeah, the funny thing with this movie is, I think I was telling you earlier, it came out in 1997. If you think back to 97, that's when Scream had came out. Scream was popular. I Know What You Did Last Summer came out that year, 97. Scream 2 came out. Kevin Williamson was all the rage. Halloween H2O, The Faculty. So those were the kind of movies the audiences were looking for, was self-aware movies, teen characters. This movie kind of probably been better from a market standpoint if you had a teen cast, maybe some high school kids, Unlock the Djinn. So the movie feels more like a 94, 95, 96. It reminds me of the horror movie, I don't know if you've seen Thinner.
Thinner?
It reminds me a lot. It has the exact same feel as Thinner, which is a 95 horror movie, I think. So it's kind of it came out a couple years late. It was kind of a little bit behind its time, unfortunately. Instead of being ahead of its time, it was behind its time a little bit. So I think it would have done better box office-wise a couple years earlier. The movie itself, what I like about it is, even though Wishmaster is the weakest, I still think he belongs not in the upper tier, but he's still a quality villain. Mainly because Andrew Duvall, fantastic voice actor, and it's so rare to have a face as creepy as the voice. And that face is very creepy. So he does a great job. The effects are good. I like the effects. I like that the movie's not afraid to show you all the gore. There's a lot of kills here. Most of them have a payoff. There's no off-screen bullshit. You get a lot. If you're a gore hound, this has a lot of gore in it. I like the story. I just wish it was more consistent. There's an epic story here, potentially, if done right. I don't think it was done right, but the idea of the Djinn and the gemstone and the wishes, it could have been a really good movie, actually. Instead, there are some plot holes that don't make sense. It doesn't follow its own internal logic. The acting is mostly terrible, except for maybe 3 or 4 things. Mostly Duvall. But all the human characters mostly are forgettable. Like I said, the main actress didn't really leave a good impression on me, which is good enough, but not really memorable. My gut instinct is a 2.5 stars also. I think it's still a fun, turn your brain off 90s horror film. It has pretty good death scenes. It has a fun villain. The effects are there. It's a very quick movie. Turn your brain off, a fun movie. So I'm going to go 2.5 stars also. I had a good memory of Wishmaster. It maintained my good memory. I wasn't disappointed or anything. So I would definitely recommend at least one watch of Wishmaster. I wish you to do it, and in a way where it's not manipulated in a way where you watch the movie and then your head explodes. Just watch it peacefully with some chicken nuggets, Chick-fil-A sauce.
Some Hooter wings.
Maybe some wings from Hooters.
And as always, if your DVD cases are in suitcases, make sure you have a way to get to them quickly. Otherwise, you're going to end up on Freevee watching movies with ads.
And even though they're free, they're not for me, and they're not for you either, unless you like ads.
Have a good night.